Hello and welcome to Paper Plays Julie K.
Welcome back everyone, and thank you for joining me. And today I am continuing to work on my start to finish journal that I'm doing, pretty much all of the steps on camera with everyone, a little bit of a craft with me type session, and I'm just going to jump right in and get going. I'm hoping to kind of finish up adding like the small details and stuff on the pages and the tuck spots, and then hopefully tomorrow I can get going on adding the like tags and ephemera and stuff like that. So I have a few things, as you can see, kind of all spread out on my little craft mat here, just different stuff to grab from. Just like I said, just adding a little, little pieces here and there on different pages. And so the only thing I wanted to start off with for today is I had found this little connector piece. They connect doilies together, like if you're making like a bigger placemat or a table runner or something. And I went ahead and added a piece of like a broken off rhinestone in the middle of it. I pushed it through the middle hole, and I was thinking that that might look kind of good attached, either up here or right here on the back. Again, I'm starting kind of in the back of my journal pages. A lot of these are somewhat decorated, or I'm happy with them. And so I think I'm going to do that. And I'm going to use the glossy accents, I think, to start this one. I plugged in my hot glue gun just in case I need that for something today. I'm not sure yet. Just was checking to see if it was ready to go, but I don't think it is yet. I just plugged it in. And maybe I'll put a little bit of fabric tack on the outside of where the more the middle part of the doily is, or the fabric of the doily is. I just think I needed the glossy accents to hold down the rhinestone piece. And I think I was going to tell you guys, because I think the other day we worked on this envelope where we put the fun little car piece in there, and I had glued down this top little punch out thing, and I had used the tacky glue, and I just wanted to let you guys know that that did not attach to the window envelope part very well. So what I ended up doing is I just pushed it a little higher up on my envelope, and I re-glued it down, and so it seems to be holding now. It didn't like it when I just glued 100% onto the window envelope. I just wanted to let you know that the tacky glue doesn't work for that. So to make sure that if you're doing something similar, you might want to choose a different type of glue. So I think I like that. This page right here, I'm trying to decide if I want to do anything or not. Maybe I'll do a little stamp or something. I have some of the Poole stamps, dates from the past. It's one of her little bit older ones, and I store my rubber stamps. I've done it for over 20 years since I started buying unmounted stamps. I've always put them in the little yellow envelopes, and then I just stamp real quick on the front of them, just because I always found that my packaging broke after a while. And this was long before they had all those nice clear envelopes that they have now. And since I started with that method, I've kind of kept up with it. It's worked for me for storing my unmounted rubber stamps. And it's probably a lot cheaper too than using the clear envelopes, the plastic ones that you can buy. But of course those are nice too. I mean, what's nice about that method is you don't have to stamp them at all. But I'm thinking it might just be nice to stamp something just up at the top. I don't know if I want like a number or a date. No, I want something. Probably maybe a date or something. Like maybe someone was writing. Maybe we'll do this one right here. This little messier one. Across the top. Just trying to find one of my little blocks here. Sometimes I have unmounted stamps that aren't like the new ones, just the older red rubber ones, and so I just used like double stick tape on my blocks to make them stick. Way back when I first started stamping, you'd be able to buy like the red rubber stamps and then buy your own foam and then mount them on a wood block. And when I was a poor college student, that was a cheaper way to go. And then my dad would just cut up some wood blocks for me, and then I would buy the foam and I'd put them together. But now they have these nicer ones that actually cling and everything to the stamp blocks. So you don't have to add your own foam and be able to make them work. So hopefully that, I guess that might leak through the back, but that's okay. We'll just leave it. I'll wash my stamp after we're done today. So I'll set those aside for now. And I'm going to leave this right here because you can always journal on that, and same with here. I'm not going to do anything more to that. And these are nice neutral pages too that you can easily journal on them. I know when I use my journals, I always have like a little piece of chipboard or something that I put behind my pages when I journal. So I think all I need here is maybe just a little flower or, you know, little piece from my stash that's just sitting around on my desk here, just to add a little bit of interest. So I probably want to put something maybe on the top since I have something down here. Try and stay in frame and zoom in a little bit so you guys can see what I'm doing. I always like those. I have this nice little one. I was going to use it on something else, but I'm not using the whole thing. Maybe I'll just cut out this little flower one up at the top, because I know that I'm cutting that off anyways because I'm using this part, I think, on something else in the journal. So let's just cut this one off and use it. So hopefully you guys are all doing well. It's a cold day again here in Minnesota. But I guess that's winter for you here. And my husband is up at our cabin, and I think he's sorting his fishing supplies and fishing gear. He's been doing some ice fishing, but he's been watching some show on Amazon Prime or something that they've been bass fishing. And so our lake does have a lot of bass fishing in it, and so he's going through all this stuff to see what he has, because now he's inspired to organize his stuff. So I told him I thought that was a good project for him when it's cold out, and you know, he likes to be outdoors. He doesn't have really a lot of like indoor activities or hobbies. He doesn't like to read, or, you know, he'll play games on his tablet or his phone. But you know, that's about it. I kind of like this little piece here across the bottom, so let's glue that down. I want to try to kind of move along a little bit today, and if I need to, I'll cut more of this trim. I like this trim. I have a lot of it left still in my stash. This was just a remnant left over from some project I did. So let's put that across the bottom. And like I said, this page is still neutral enough that I don't really want to do anything else to it, because you can still journal on it. We did that the other day, and I like that. I don't remember what I was going to do on this page. If I was just going to put, you know, a piece on it and then maybe stamp on it too. Yeah, maybe that's what I was going to do. If not, I'm just going to make it up now. I don't know if that I had a plan. On the other side, I'd attached just a junk tag that I was going to decorate for a piece of ephemera. we probably won't get to that today, but while I was thinking of it and I found it in my stash, I was looking and I thought that would be a good little like tag or journal card to add to my stash for this. So yeah, we'll just use a little bit of the cheesecloth again. This kind of reminds me as I'm using this that I need to tea dye some more cheesecloth. I think I'm almost out of my tea dyed cheesecloth. So I like that. So let's glue that down. We'll run with that. And then it kind of covers, it looks like there's like a little, you know, this was actual junk mail and it was probably sitting on our kitchen counter or something, and it just looks like it has a little stain or something on it. So that'll kind of cover that little spot up, that little imperfection, and I'll just glue down some of this bridal trim. I don't remember where I got this from. I've been in so many little swaps lately, or this past year, or last year, and I'm sure that came from somebody. It might have even came from Gisela at Lavish Laces. She has some nice vintage stuff in her shop. And that might have been one of the ones that came from her. And then we're going to stamp something. So I'll take another one of the, since I have these Sam Poole ones from Crafter's Companion, we'll find another little stamp, and maybe I'll just stamp it on the side. Maybe we'll just use one of these numbers. I'm trying to get better about using more of, you know, more variety of my supplies in my journals and stuff. Sometimes I get in the habit of just doing the same couple, you know, supplies, and I forget to use other stuff, and I have a ton of crafting stuff. So I'm trying to dig out stamps that I haven't used that I've purchased, and these were some that I had purchased, and I don't think I've used them other than to like stamp them on the envelope when I put them away. I have quite a few more stamps that are sitting there that I need to stamp on envelopes and put away. It's been quite a while now, but you know, even all the way back, I think to 2021 or maybe even 2022, I had stopped at a rummage sale, or my husband brought me, and the lady was selling a ton of rubber stamps and die cuts, and they were like unbelievably cheap. Everything was like, the rubber stamps were like $1 for like a whole package, like what I showed you. And I picked up anything that I thought I might use because, like I said, there were 50 cents. Most of them had never been used, and the lady was selling her aunt's collection. Her aunt had passed away, and she had received all of her supplies, and the lady just did a little bit of stamping, not a lot. So most of the stuff she sold, she was also selling yarn, and so I picked up yarn too. I had found this too in my stash when I was going through stuff, and it's from, I think the company is called Nostalgic Graphic Land, but I'll link it below. It was something I printed, you know, I'd printed off a few of them, and I think I might have even reduced the size of it. I think it's a bigger size, but it looks like kind of the same colors that I'm working with. So eventually I'll come back and decorate that, but I thought, well, that's already a start for that pocket. So so that'll work for there. But yeah, so going back to my story about the rummage sale, like I said, the prices were so unbelievably cheap. I mean, 50 cents for brand new rubber stamps that have never been used. And I think she bought a lot of her stuff off of the like Home Shopping Network. And so, like I said, a lot of the stuff wasn't even used. I just thought here I would make like just a little tuck spot that something could go into this tuck spot here. And I didn't really have 100% plan of what exactly I was going to put on it, other than I had grabbed out, I think this is an ephemera from Tim Holtz. But again, going back to the story or whatever, everything was so cheap, and I walked away with a ton of stuff. And like she even had like 3-ring binders full of in the plastic sleeves, and then there were stamps in those too, and they were just selling like the whole binder for $3. So I picked up some of those. And I've been using the supplies I picked up, but there was just so many of them that I stuck them all in a drawer. And then as I have time, or when I'm like not really feeling my crafty mojo, I take that stuff out and then I stamp it on the envelopes, the yellow envelopes, and then put them back, you know, how I organize them. So I've been slowly doing that. And of course, if I pull something out and I haven't put it in the yellow envelopes right away, I do that at the same time if I'm using it for something. But yeah, that was an amazing rummage sale. And so I picked up stuff for me, and my mom knits and crochets. And so I picked up a ton of yarn too, because they were selling like all this high-end yarn, and it was like 50 cents a skein for these skeins that were, because some of them I looked up real quick on my phone because I was curious. And they were like $10, $12, at the time they were $10, $12, you know, skeins of yarn, and they were 50 cents. So I picked up quite a bit for my mom too. And then I made my husband drive me back to that rummage sale because it was kind of remote. There was a lot of people at it. It was really busy. So I made him drive me back again the next day because I thought, oh, maybe there's something more that I want to pick up, you know, because there were so many people, and it was just a little overwhelming because right away I just grabbed what I knew what I for sure wanted. But we went back again the next day and picked up more stuff. And then that day, my husband, the first day he just sat in the car. But the next day, since there wasn't very many people there, he went with me, and he actually shopped for my mom. It was kind of cute because they still had a lot of yarn left, and so he was calling my mom, asking her about the brands and the colors and different stuff. So he was pretty proud of himself. For some reason, I kind of like that. I think that's kind of cute. I don't, like I said, I'll stick something in there. So I think I'm going to glue that on too. But you just love it when you run into those rummage sales or you find deals like that at the thrift store. But that's probably been about the best rummage sale I've ever ran into for cheap crafting supplies. And when I was there was, you know, a few other people that were, you know, crafters that would use the rubber stamps. But the majority of the women that were there were shopping for the yarn. So that made it nice because I pretty much got to go through all the cutting dies long before, you know, before other women were starting to go through them. And I got a lot of nice cutting dies. And then what was nice too about it is like some of the cutting dies had like rubber stamp sets along with them. And the lady still just charged you $1, even though there was like a rubber stamp set and a cutting die in it. You know, and some of those cutting die sets, you know, just for the cutting die, they can be like $15, $20, you know, and same with the rubber stamps, depending upon the brand. So I think that's really cute. I like that. And so I'll be able to stick something in there. I don't think I really need to do anything else with it. You know, while I have this open, this side, for whatever reason, this little, you know, no, sometimes it doesn't bother me to be able to see my stitches, and then other times I don't like it. And I don't really like that stitching there. And I was thinking I just needed, you know, to hide it a little bit with a little something. You know, I could dig out some more of those paper, those rulers that I have on the paper too. Those are just sitting behind me. I don't know. I don't know if I like that. You know, this later colored one wouldn't be bad. Yeah, I think I'll cut from this one though down here. I gotta find my scissors. Just in case, because this one, you know, if I want to use the whole rubber with the, or not the rubber, the ruler with the whole, with the advertising on it, where this one doesn't have any advertising, and I just kind of want something to cover that up. I really like this paper that I picked up from the craft store that had closed. I think I picked up a couple sheets of it, so I'll be able to do something else with it. There was a couple other pieces of the set that I picked up, I know, and I did pull one of them out thinking that I might make some sort of ephemera for this journal. One of them had the bingo cards in these colors in it, so I was thinking I could do something with that since we already added like a real vintage bingo card on one of the pages. I was thinking I could maybe do something with that. Maybe make a notebook or a scrappy pad or something. So I think I'm going to go all the way up to the top. This one. Looks like I can kind of tuck it underneath. Just making sure I'm still on camera here. And then we'll just trim off a little bit off the top. That kind of works. You know, sometimes I just like to hide things. I think this would have worked too, the little flower lace. But since I already had some lace already on the page, I might as well add something. I'm trying to get my glue to come down. It's getting towards the end. But there's still a fair amount in there, so I really don't want to open up another one until this one's. And usually it's fine once I get it going, and then I just set it upside down while I craft in a cup. But I found that if I don't turn it back upside like this, that eventually it starts to seep out the sides, and then you can get a big mess on your craft desk. So that's why I have an old cup that I put it in. And that's what I did in there. That's all that glue. Most of that glue in there is the glue that from one day from it seeping over the, even though it had the cover on it, it still seeped over the side. But now I don't worry. Now, like, since I started it, now I'll just put it in the cup upside down and it'll be fine for while we craft. So like that, that's kind of cute. Sometimes when you do these journals that really don't have a specific theme to them, it's always interesting to see kind of how they come along and what they end up looking like and what colors you end up being drawn to or using. Okay, so then that'll be a tuck spot, and we'll create a tag or a journal card. That I'm going to leave. I'm fine with that. And maybe I should put something across the bottom. Yeah, let's put a label or something, so there's 3 things there. I have these Tim Holtz labels. Again, I picked them up at Hobby Lobby, and I see a couple black ones sitting right here at the top, or in a gray one. So maybe one of these will work without having to dig through too many of them. Sometimes it's just nice to add a label, and then you have a little spot, like if you're actually using it as a journal, you have a spot to like write a date or a name or something like that. It's a little too long because it's going over my fold, so we'll just fix that by, we'll just cut off a little bit on one end. We can still tuck it in there and glue it down. So that'll work. Wow, this whole little craft with me stuff goes by so fast. I'm like already on like 25 minutes, and I will, as usual, you know, fast forward through stuff, or if I walk away from my desk, I'll edit that out so you guys don't have to hear that. I was hoping to get further than that in 25 minutes. I'm going to just turn my camera off and turn it back on again just so it doesn't shut down on me. So that should work, and it looks like when I shut my camera down and turn it back on again, it looks like my battery's getting low. I just don't get it. I just bought like new batteries for my camera, and they're like rechargeable ones. And you know, I have a decent camera. It's a Canon PowerShot one, and it's like the original Canon battery lasts forever. But then, you know, it eventually needs to be charged. So I bought some other ones and they just do not last as long as the other camera battery. Just kind of annoying. I think last time too I added these tabs and it looks like I put this page upside down. The numbers were upside down, so I'll just fix that right now. Oh, everything's upside down. What did I do? What did I do? Well, that stuff all looks right. I didn't want to keep on decorating if things are backwards. This one doesn't really matter. So that stuff's all okay. That's okay. And that goes in that way. So maybe it's just the other section that I had upside down. But we'll get to that. There was something I wanted to do on the other side of this one. So on this one, I had this spot that one of the days when we were crafting, we attached that. And I wanted to make a little tuck spot here because I think this is kind of difficult to write on. So I grabbed some different ephemera and I was going to make it look a little more vintage and also ink the edges of all this stuff. There's my ink. And all these I think came from Artie Mays, I believe. I didn't have the envelope that I organized this stuff in. I put some of my stuff in like items like this, the clear envelopes. And sometimes when I get down to like the end of a kit or something I printed, I just throw any digital in there. So I know it's a digital. I'm pretty sure this one was from Artie Mays. This one. It looks like there's like a kind of a, like the ticket's been ripped there. So we'll cut that out to make it look a little more authentic. And then there's a hole right there. But I think that's going to get covered. Otherwise, normally I would punch it since it's already punched there. And then I had a couple other things I grabbed at the same time. So I'm just going to go ahead and ink all those edges while I'm inking. And then we're done with that. But nowadays, I know when I bought this kit, I'm pretty sure this one was from Artie Mays. She was like one of the first digital creators that had little, you know, interesting labels like that, her and Tracy Fox. And then I think, you know, Sam Poole has some nice ones too. She actually has those stamps, which I like. And then also these tickets, which I think if you have, Tim Holtz has, and I do have that even, Tim Holtz has the rubber stamps that look like that I use sometimes. This one I think I want to corner around the edges. Make that one a little bit different before I start inking the edges. Not quite sure how long I'll craft today. I have quite a while before I have to go back up for supper. So I have all afternoon. Like I said, this time of year I just love it because we don't really have any paperwork. So if we don't have anything else going on, any house chores or anything, I have, you know, usually part of an afternoon or an evening or something to craft. If football's on and my husband's interested in watching that, he does. He likes to watch that. So then, you know, once in a while I'll watch, but I'm usually more into the crafting. So I'll be like, oh, this is a good time for me to go up and craft. Like I said, he's organizing right now. And so my thought process for this, I'm going to make it a tuck spot. So I'm going to glue it down on this edge. You know, maybe at the bottom, but I was thinking I could add this little ticket here and, you know, kind of make that like a secondary pocket. And I had this little piece that I was just going to layer on top. And so then I was thinking then I would just maybe stick all these items in the pocket. And then there's still, you know, the other pocket. This actually came, this one came from a scrapbooking paper pad. It was like a little tag, but I just thought it kind of matched, so I grabbed that out. So I don't think I'm going to do any sewing on this one. I think I'm just going to glue it down. So let's add some glue. And I'm going to make it so it's not like perfect, like it's maybe kind of at an angle a little bit. And this I'll 100% glue down, but maybe I'll add a little bit of the eyelash trim underneath it first, since I have this little piece sitting here. I know I love my eyelash trim. I know sometimes I watch people and they're always putting like little bows on things, and other people love their buttons, and I think we all kind of have our little things that we like more than anything else. And so eyelash trim is one of those little things that I like, that whenever I can, I'm always adding eyelash trim to things. So that should work. So I'm going to go ahead and glue that down. I think I will just glue it down like so it's more of a like pocket tuck spot, just to make sure that it holds on to anything that I add. It's kind of cute. I like that. So let's see if there's anything else if I want to add. I will add this little flower on there too, on the end. It probably would have been cute if I would have cut the little hole there and added like just a small little piece of twine or something. But we'll add the flower right there. And that'll work. So then I already have this little bit of ephemera, and I'm just going to lightly put it in there. I'm not going to push it all the way down because we don't want to accidentally glue the pieces in, which you could do that if you wanted to leave them in there permanently. But I know when I use my journals, I like little things like this. I like to write little things on the backs of the ephemera pieces if I can, like even if it's just a list or an important date or whatever I'm journaling about. It's kind of a fun little thing to do. So then, like, you could add then your little postcard or something behind there. So that works. Not quite as nice as I had it set up, just sitting on my desk, but once it dries, I'll be able to push everything down better. Like I said, I just don't want to accidentally glue that in. So we'll have our base of our journal here. Let's put this page in where it belongs. So it goes in like this. Let's look at the next pages. Okay, so yeah, that's what happened is I just flipped the page around. So it goes in like this on both sides. So that's cute. I like that. I don't know if I need to do anything. If I need to add anything on this one. Can't really add a tab or anything at the top since I stamped on the top. You know, you can always add like a little doily. I could do some more stamping on here. Maybe I'll just add this. I kind of like this little doily remnant, so let's go ahead and add that. I probably should have used the Fabri-Tac. This is kind of, usually it's just the thinner laces that I like to use the tacky glue for, but I think it'll hold it okay. So we'll just put that there. I think I'm just going to leave that one plain. Maybe, yeah, I'm just going to leave that one. Then the next sheet that we have is the music sheet. So that'll just get laid in there. And then our next one is the ruler one. And I was going to do a couple things to this one. I think I'm getting close to being done for today. So I did find this in my stash. It's like a Project Life card that I did a long time ago on my YouTube channel. If anyone's interested in me, you know, doing another mass producing session of decorating Project Life cards, let me know and I can do another one. But it was one of those things where you could just kind of clean up your desk with all the random things and decorate, and then I sewed them on, and then you can still journal on the back side. But I was thinking I was just going to attach that here on this side, and I have a little key paper clip. And then what I was going to do here, and it looks like my battery's going to die, so I'm just going to tell you guys, and then I'm going to finish it probably off camera, but there isn't anything too dramatic or anything that I'm going to do that's but what I was thinking I was going to do is I have this rolled rose, and I made these for my Christmas tree that I did with the rolled roses, and I have a bunch of them left. So I'm going to add that here. I'm going to glue that down, and I'll definitely use the Fabri-Tac. And then I have another one of the little Tim Holtz labels. I was just going to add that there. Probably put some eyelash trim underneath it, and then I was going to call that page done. So I'll do that off camera. So yeah, there might be just a couple more things I want to finish, because there was one more page in here that I wanted to do. Yeah, so yeah, I guess there will be one more day of decorating pages before we really start the ephemera. So yeah, thank you again, everybody, so much for watching, and I really appreciate it. I hope to see you guys all back tomorrow. I'm going to continue to work on the journal. So until then, have a wonderful day and happy crafting.